welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 177. Today, apparently, the PS6 is going to have a handheld. Also, we have some other little bits of news to talk about, and I've been playing Shinobi Art of Vengeance, so I'll be sharing those impressions. Joining me, as always, my sweet dumpster boy, Cayman Darty. Cayman, how you doing?
Patrick, I am well, Patrick. I am well. Patrick, I got a question for you.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought you were like 2001: A Space Odyssey, like computer voice, but I realized
Your
that
how?
you're not.
I'm how?
Yeah.
A little. I don't know. I could try to try to rein that in for this question. I got a question for you, Patrick. You always start off asking me how I'm doing.
Sure.
I'm not going to ask you how you're doing, but I am going to ask you a question. Are you?
You don't want to know how I'm
doing. Are you a uniform guy? How would you feel about being a uniform guy?
A uniform guy, as in like we all wear uniforms?
No. So this is something that was asked to me this weekend.
Okay.
And this is something I think that's interesting that was brought to my attention, was how people like myself who leave the house once a week, and that's typically Fridays, and that I also show up on air either Tuesday or Thursday. So I'm really only seen by civilization twice a week, typically. That essentially what it is that we wear a certain outfit when we go out because like we want to wear an outfit, but we only leave the house a couple times. So eventually what ends up happening is we get to a point where you become a uniform person, where you're known for a distinct look or distinct like appearance. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm following. So your uniform is your overalls,
right?
Is this correct?
So apparently this is someone asked, they were like, hey man, you always wear sunglasses because you can't see. You have to use a cane because you can't walk. You wear a hat because, I don't know, for some reason where you wear a hat, and now you wear overalls. You now have a uniform. You've become a uniform guy.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't know if I like that. And they're like, what do you mean? You don't like being a uniform guy? And I was like, honestly, I think I'm content with the idea of being a uniform guy.
Yeah.
Because previously it was always like flannels and thick rims with, my paperboy cap. And that was it. That's what people knew me by. So I was a uniform guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I want to be a uniform guy that's known as his uniform as overalls.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. Because Coal Mines does point out he wears overalls because he can't keep the shit in his diaper anymore.
Probably true. The rest of my body's failing. My ass should be next.
Here's my pitch to you, Cayman.
Hit me.
Of a rebrand of your uniform.
Okay.
Jorts. Open zipper. Dick through the zipper.
Dick through the zipper.
T-shirt. Sleeves cut, but not just sleeves, like down the whole side.
Okay, so you want the big loop ones.
Yeah, big loop ones.
Workout sleeve shirts.
Backwards trucker hat. That says I'm an ally on it. So that when people, if they're coming up from behind you, they're like, oh, this guy's an ally. They turn the corner, they see your dick through your jeans.
Dick's hanging out.
Like, wait, I don't know. So essentially you're keeping your identity a mystery because they can't really quite figure you out. You might end up in jail within a few days.
Right. No, I think I'd be in jail within a day.
Maybe.
I don't think I'd make it a few days. The question becomes, Patrick, are you a uniform guy in the sense that okay, and the reason I bring this up is because there's a fight taking place on TikTok right now regarding pizzas.
Yes.
Everybody's got a goddamn opinion about pizza.
It's
and someone said glasses. I agree with glasses.
I see now where this is going.
Wait, hold on a second. Does Patrick have a uniform too?
I mean, glasses and beard is certainly. You wouldn't believe the amount of times I get a text, a DM, a smoke signal of someone being like, dude, I just saw this guy. It looks just like you.
It's just a white dude with a beard and glasses.
Just a white dude with a beard and glasses. Every now and then, it does look like me. every
Right.
now and then. But usually it looks nothing like me. It's just a white dude with a beard and glasses.
Here's the
My
thing.
own family has done this. Where I'm like, you've known me for 33 years because I am the youngest. How do you think this person looks like me?
Here's the thing, Patrick. This is no like dig on Rose or a dig on my wife. Shout out, happy birthday, Sid. But like, if we were to go to a theme park and would get caricatures done of us, and we frame those, and people walked by, they would be like, "That's Patrick, that's Cayman. Those are two women."
Yeah.
Who are the
Rose
women?
has said before in like character creators, she's like, I feel like I can never get a character to look like me because I don't have a beard and glasses like you do. I don't have like the easy thing. But
Right.
it's a gift and a curse, Cayman.
It is a gift and a curse because we are, you know, what I worry about, Patrick, is that I'm a character in someone else's story.
Whoa.
Because we were telling stories the other day, and I was like, man, you won't believe this crazy character I used to work with, this guy. And I was telling all these stories, and you know, of course, I'm a great storyteller, so people were obviously enthused by all.
Of course, I'm a great storyteller.
And I realized something though. I was like, if there's someone out there that's telling the same stories, like, man, I worked with this guy.
Yeah.
Listen to this fucking weirdo. And it's me. I'm the fucking weirdo.
Sure.
So the question is, do we double down?
Triple
Get
down.
a third pair of overalls?
Triples is best.
Right? They say triples is best.
Yeah. Oh, I just got the Nova too. I think there's something here. Do you have any overalls that are shorts, which some people might call a romper?
Right. No, I don't. Here's what I've found.
Go ahead.
You don't need them to be shorts.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing about overalls that I've found is that you don't need them to be shorts.
Okay. Tell me more.
If anything, it's better to have them the way they are. Because the thing is, you have a lot of space everywhere. And that's why I think I love them so much, is because it's like wearing sweats outside that are like somewhat passable, because you don't look that slovenly. Like, you can make overalls look good as an outfit choice, you know? You can do it. It's in style.
Yeah, of course.
But the thing is, everything's loose enough that there's always airflow. So you always have airflow through your like gut region into the other nether regions down out your legs. So you're venting constantly. And so there's really no point in having legs. Like, it's just you're venting. It's always venting.
Sure.
So
okay.
Look, all I'm saying is you just get a pair of overalls, try them out, and then report back to me. And then maybe, just maybe, you can go to dropindropoutpodcast.com. We have a Venmo, I think. Dropindropoutpod.com. And I think we still have a Venmo account there. Just start Venmoing as much money as you have in your bank account.
Yeah.
Because one thing, overalls aren't cheap. So start, just give us your paycheck so we can get the whole crew a pair of overalls together.
I like to always say to people, like, just pretend. Just like, oh man, I didn't get paid this 1 week, and that all goes to me. Like, what? How
tighten the belt?
Yeah, how I think a lot of people could be okay with just forgoing, like, even just half
one meal. You could you could just one meal. You could probably go 6 meals a week.
Yeah, come on.
Think about how much money that is.
Think about that.
Look, in today's economy, you could lose a little weight too. Think about that.
High Score Weekly says people already did that, Patrick. And hey, I'm about to ask again. We got the most recent estimate. I'm about to ask again, brother. Cayman, we got a lot of video game stuff to talk about, because this is the Spotlight Games podcast, where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod, or by searching for Spotlight Games in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live, just like a hoppin' poppin' chat. We got Control, we got High Score Weekly. We were rated by JK Games. You love to see it. We got Gianni, we got Coal Mines, we got a whole bunch of friends here. Be like them. Follow us on Twitch so that you're notified when we go live, so you can be part of the conversation. Cayman, we have a quick set of housekeeping for today's show, because there was no JK Games this week, even though Jericho was just streaming. However, tomorrow, apt viewers that are here every time and every week notice that we didn't do Spotlight or what I plugged 2 weeks ago, the Mafia review and spoiler cast. We're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to do the Mafia review and spoiler cast tomorrow with friends of the show, Gianni, who has been here on Spotlight, and newcomer to our umbrella of Drop In, Drop Out, Shay Noel. If you are a viewer of the homie Jake Twitchin, you know Shay. But if you're not, you're going to meet Shay and you're going to love Shay. We're going to be reviewing and spoiling Mafia tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern. So a little bit of a different time than normal, earlier for the sake of things and life. Tomorrow's my wedding anniversary. I also have a fantasy football draft.
Oh my god, how are we going to do all of this tomorrow, Patrick?
It's not good. It's not good.
Are you also going to do a fake draft because Toxic Avenger is currently playing at the local cinema, and I'm like, there's no fucking way this is lasting more than 2 days.
Look, if you just queue up some games, some players, you'll be good.
The weirdest team you can imagine.
Hey, it'll still be better than Evans. And then Thursday, the release date of Hollow Knight Silk Song over on twitch.tv/drop-in-drop-out-pod. We're going to be giving our initial impressions, and we're also going to be talking about our game of the year so far. Maybe Silk Song is in somebody's game of the year just from a few hours of hands-on, but we're going to talk about it, and we're going to look ahead and see, are there any other games on the horizon that might wiggle their way in? Maybe a Ghost of Yote might be something that I talk about. Who's to say? You're going to have to tune in 8 p.m. Eastern time Thursday on twitch.tv/drop-in-drop-out-pod. And last thing, go to dropindropoutpod.com, join the Discord. Everyone that I've seen in the chat so far is in the Discord. We got good people over there. Come join, have some fun, talk about video games. You won't regret it, I promise. Cayman, we always start the Spotlight Games podcast when we don't start with talking about uniforms, with what we've been playing. Cayman, what have you been playing, my sweet, sweet dumpster boy?
What have I been playing, Patrick? Well, I think the last time I was on the episode, the Spotlight, was like, yeah, I'm working on the platinum for Scarlet Nexus. Oh, I got the platinum for Scarlet Nexus. It's not worth it.
Sure.
I would say it's worth playing the game twice, so you might just naturally come to a point where you're like, doesn't make sense for me not to get the platinum.
Okay.
Because you do need to play the game twice as both characters because you get to see both sides of the story, which is a really cool thing that they do. And I think that there's a lot of fun to be had with that. I don't think it sticks all the landings in either of the stories. I would say golden shovels. I would say 3.75 golden shovels. And I would say 3 platinum shovels.
Wow. I forgot about the shovels, Cayman.
Right. I know it's been a long time since we talked about
Bringing it back. Bring it back in the chat.
Bringing it back. Look, to be honest with you, there's really not much to say.
Yeah.
Like, I would say play it if you like the first 5 hours of the game. It's pretty much that for the rest of the game with a little, you just get better. Things get more fun because you can start doing just absolute buck wild shit by the end of the game with like combo moves and things. So there is like a fun progression to it.
Sure.
But I don't think it's anything that you should be like screaming about. But I'm not here to talk about that, Patrick. I want to talk about another anime ass bullshit game, if you don't mind.
Oh, I don't mind.
Talk about Soul Hackers 2.
Ooh.
So some people
anime ass game.
Yeah, some people like dumpster boy. What the fuck is Soul Hackers? Like, let me tell you what Soul Hackers is. Soul Hackers is a spin-off of Shin Megami. Let's see, it's a spin-off of Shin Megami Devil Summoner, which is it's Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, some shit, which is a spin-off of Shin Megami, which is the series that spins off in a different direction with Shin Megami Tensei, then also spins off into Persona. They're all within the same universe. Soul Hackers actually takes place in a future world that Persona exists in. So the future, like essentially Persona exists side by side. All of the games exist in the same realm. Like they're all happening at some continuity level together. Soul Hackers is the same, just taking place hundreds of thousands of years in the future.
I don't think I knew that Soul Hackers was in the Persona world.
Yeah, and you'll see, like, it's got so many overlaps, like the devils or the demons that you fight, like you'll see
Yeah.
them
I
are
already
just
see
like
it.
they're all instead of calling them personas, they're called devils. You're a summoner, so you summon devils. So instead of like, getting your personas or summoning your personas, you're summoning devils, which you have the exact same fusion system as the Persona games. The big difference with this series is that there's no schedule.
Okay.
It does also feel like they've reined back they've definitely reined back like the relationship building. There
Yeah.
is relationship stuff, but it's not like you're trying to spend time with people and like progressing stories. You have stories with them. They're like you go into like your own brain with them because you soul hack them. It's a lot of fucking anime shit. The game is exactly if you were looking for an anime ass turn-based game like Persona, but you don't want to deal with the stress of a schedule. Soul Hackers to me has that. It just feels like Persona stripped down,
Huh.
which is either going to work for you or maybe not work for you, depending on how much you love Persona or how much you need that of Persona. But I think you may be able to get someone to join into the Atlas world by telling them to start with Soul Hackers
Interesting.
because it's not that hard. There's difficulty settings, which Shin Megami Tensei is a fucking ball buster of a game. So it's not very difficult. I think it's an easy entry point. You're not stressing over, the schedules or all of the different activities that you can do. Yours very much more mainlined. From my understanding, you can platinum the game in like 60 to 70 hours. So
Are you
that'll
going
just
for it?
tell you. I might. It really depends. I'm on the fence about Silk Song. I've been going back and forth. I drafted it, but I also don't want to play it. So I'm back and forth on it. I'm very hype about Borderlands 4, but I'm also very terrified that I'm not going to like Borderlands 4. So I'm a
Sure.
little nervous about that. Hell is Us is also out right now. And so I'm like, I do have like I'll tease this up for later, but I do have a first impressions from a friend of the show, a Slamber, gave me some first impressions on what she thinks about the game. So I'll drop those in a little bit
Oh, nice.
of
Hell
Hell
yeah.
is Us. But there's a lot of games right now, and we're ramping up for busy season.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if I have that much time. It is, though, the perfect game for the Portal. And so I've been kicking back an hour at night, an hour during the day while I'm
Yeah.
working, shit like that. Enjoying turn-based games are perfect for the Portal.
This is a classic dumpster boy move here in that in
Right.
the chat right now, not
Mhm.
only do you have Gianni saying that this is speaking to him because his one big hang up with Persona and Metaphor is the relationship stuff and the time stuff is
Right.
what I'm assuming he means.
Mhm.
But High Score Weekly doesn't even know about the game. That is a rare feat to bring in. You're bringing in both sides of the aisle right now with Soul Hackers 2.
Yeah.
And to that, I say I tip my hat to you, sir.
Thank you.
Very good.
Look, it's been a while since I felt like I've brought something that's just been like super under the radar. I haven't been doing a lot of dumpster dives lately just because
Sure.
of time, health issues, and things like that. So I've been doing a lot of it. But I'd put this up there. You can get it in here for everyone else in the chat. It's on PlayStation Plus catalog right now. So not only you don't even have to spend your hard-earned cash. That cash you were going to spend on that, put it towards the drop in, drop out overalls fund.
Thank you.
You're going to thank me later.
Yeah. This is big. Also, in hindsight, when I was capturing this B-roll and this underboob lady showed up, I was like, is this a Persona game? Because if I've seen that underboob once, I've seen it 1,000
We've
times.
seen that. We've seen that underboob so fucking
Yeah.
much. Hey, thank you
Kayla
for joining us, Kayla Grave,
in
just
the
in time
chat.
for the underboob talk.
Yeah, just in time for underboob Spotlight Games pod. Came in a couple things.
Yeah.
I finished 2 video games. One, I don't think I actually talked about on this show because we didn't do last week's show. And one I have already talked about. Tiny Bookshop. I finished.
Okay. You finally
Rolled
finished
credits.
it? Yeah.
That is a fucking video game.
Yeah. You like it?
It is definitely going. It's right now. It's in my top 10. I have it at number 7.
Okay.
And I wonder, it might end up staying in that like 9 or 10 spot. I won't be surprised if I have a few more enter the top 10 by the end of the year. But that game, man, I realized it has like a post game, and I kind of can't stop playing that, but I am forcing myself to because I have to, because there's so many games to play. But super, super recommend Tiny Bookshop. For those of you that listened a few weeks ago, if you were still on the fence, full endorsement. Tiny Bookshop fucking rules. And then Metal Gear Solid Delta, I hit credits. I don't think I've talked about this on the show, but it's my first time ever playing Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. It's the one in the franchise I've never played. Other than like I never played Portable Ops, but I know a lot of people don't.
Right.
I mean, it counts. It's definitely part of the canon, but in terms of the main games, it's the only one that I've not played. And the game fucking rules. It's so fucking good. It has one of the best video game endings I've ever experienced. It's just so over the top and so fucking campy. And I hope that I have more time this year to do one more playthrough, because it's a pretty short game. You can finish it in like 8 to 10.
It's not long, right?
And I really burned through it. And I basically killed like 80% of people. I did very little stealth. So now that I know the layout, I know the map, I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going, I think I'm going to try it again. I need to find the time because it's about to be fucking busy. You mentioned we got Hell Is Us coming. We have Borderlands coming. We have Chronos, the new Dawn coming. That's just with the Hell Mussy. That's just in the next like 7 days.
Right.
So I guess a week and a half, because Borderlands is end of next week. And then later this month, Silent Hill F. We're about to be drowning in new releases.
There's too many games right now, Patrick. This is what happens, I feel like, is that we go dry spell where I feel like I'm struggling to figure out what I want to play. And then I'm like, I don't have enough money to play all of this, nor do I have enough time to play all of this.
Yeah.
So I'm there with you. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I am not going to play it.
Yeah, sure.
As you know, I actually played Snake Eater back on the PlayStation 2 as a kid. So I've played it.
Yeah.
I've actually watched the Rad Brad. I don't know if you've watched him as a YouTuber.
I don't know the Rad Brad.
He does a lot of like new release stuff. He did an entire playthrough of it. And I just watched like his playthrough of it. I think it was a great encapsulation of like what, like he was just doing a good job like doing like, because he was like, yeah, here's like a lot of history and changes and stuff there, right? So it was really cool, like getting both of that, because like I don't remember much of the game. There are certain points, like specifically the sorrow I remember, because I like, just like you, killed everyone because I wasn't good enough to do that. I was fucking like young.
Yeah.
And so the sorrow was like the hardest boss at that point.
It was so hard. It was so hard.
But yeah, the game's goofy as absolute fuck. And there's so many fun little moments I think that are sprinkled through. Like this is the one time that I'll be like, I'll give it to him. Kojima was cooking here. But also it's one of those things too where I'm like, it's a video game where it is just pure absurdity at any given point.
Yeah.
But it's told in through the lens of like, we're so fucking cool.
Yes.
And it, I don't know what like I don't know if there is a single property that I can think of that matches the level of lunacy and dumb shit in this game with also the same level of everything in this game is serious.
Yes. And it's oddly maybe the most coherent Kojima story ever told, even though it's still totally absurd and the characters are all over the place. But it's like at no point, not a single moment in this game where I was like, wait a second, who is that again? Or what's this? What is who are the Patriots or whatever? Which was really nice for maybe the first time ever in my experience of playing a Kojima game and like just totally getting it and having a great time. Also, because I'd never played this game and I played 4 first, which is crazy. So some of the characters in this game, I guess, come back in 4, spoilers. But I don't remember them because it was my first time playing. So there were some characters that I met for the first time in my adult brain now with Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater that are like some of my favorites in the franchise.
I'm curious on who that would be for you. I obviously like Revolver Ocelot, but he's in like every single game, Did you
Yeah.
play? Did you play 4 Sons of the Patriot? That was Sons of the
Yeah.
Patriot, right?
Yep. Yep.
That was a
Guns of the
game.
Patriots.
Guns of the Patriot. That was a game.
Yeah.
That exists.
Yeah.
That was a game that I also did not finish.
Yeah.
Um,
When I first bought my PS3 in college, with my student loan money, it was one of the first games that I bought because I went to IGN and said best PS3 games, and I got Uncharted, Metal Gear Solid 4, and Dark Souls because those all had 10s, or Demon Souls, I mean, and played through. And at first I didn't get very far in Metal Gear Solid 4, but then eventually I went back and finished it, and I fucking loved it. But by the time I finished it, I just was so confused, and I ended up, if I put 15 hours into that video game, I don't remember how long it is, I put 12 hours into watching YouTube videos explaining the story to me because I was so confused because I came in at the climax of the franchise. So
absolutely an incomprehensible video game story. Metal Gear, I feel like if you look at it from a whole,
yeah,
there's a certain level that makes sense if you look at a big picture.
sure.
But I do definitely stand by the fact that, like, unless you're doing some deep dive retrospectives before you're playing one, none of it makes sense.
Sure.
But Snake Eater is the closest, I think, to having an actual comprehensible story, because I think also it's like the first game in the series, technically, of like the mainline entries, because 1 and 2 come after. 4 obviously is the climax, and then what is it? 5 pops up in what, like 10 years after, or 20 years, something like 15 years after the events of 3. Because 3 takes
Something
place in
like
like
that
during like Cold War, but
I looked at a
Cold War,
timeline
technically.
the other day. So it's like 64 is 3 or something like that. And then like 6 years later, I think, is the PSP one that is Peace Walker. And then like 10 more years is 5. So it's like maybe like 15, 16 years from 3 is when 5 happens.
Right.
Something
okay.
Like that.
Yeah. So either way, dog shit. I hate him.
But I do really so deeply recommend Delta Snake Eater to anybody that wants to at least either try the franchise or come back to Metal Gear, because there have been rumblings post-release. Schreier at Bloomberg did an interview with the devs, and like they've said they want to pick back up Metal Gear and keep it going if this is successful. And because apparently something that I thought was interesting, which is like in hindsight makes sense, when Kojima left Konami, he didn't take everybody. So Jason Schreier was like, there are a lot of people that worked on this remake that worked on the original game. Like there's a ton of people. So it's like, oh, sure, that makes total sense. I just, in my mind, Kojima left, so everybody that did Metal Gear left, but that's very much not the case. So I think it's very likely and possible that we get a new Metal Gear within the next 10 years. And that feels crazy to me that we would get that.
I kind of hope there is one.
Me too.
I kind of hope there is one. I kind of hope it fucking rules.
I do too, of course.
Just like shot across the bow, you know?
Yeah. I do wonder if I'll be so interested to see if Konami makes more new Metal Gear. Would they try to make it weird as fuck like he did, or would they make it their own? Because I think either way, people are going to be mad.
Right.
But as long as you make a good game, ultimately doesn't matter.
Correct.
So I don't know.
Yeah. And you're not wrong there. I think you kind of have to maybe meet in the middle. Maybe not be as weird as Kojima.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you have as much grace. Kojima earned like a level of grace to be weird. And I think you can't really steal that, but I think you can still do something along those lines, you know?
Maybe. I think so too. And I'm wondering if, because only recently did Kojima even start commenting on Metal Gear Solid 5. It took him so long because he was so like hurt by how all of that happened that relatively recently he's like posted on Instagram about 5 and things like that. So I wonder if he's going to comment on 3 at all publicly about like the remake and whether or not it's good in his mind or whatever.
A part of me feels like he kind of already did an interview the other day where he announced that he only plays like one video game a year.
Oh, sure.
So it's like, all right, Quentin Tarantino, were you over there sucking toes the whole time, you fucking nerd? I don't know.
Sure.
That was rude. That was mean.
That was mean by Kojima or by you?
But probably both of us, to be honest.
Sure, I don't think you were mean. I think
we
all
any
know
of
that
us.
Tarantino loves toes.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are innocent. You know?
Sure. I mean, that's true. Not even
Patrick, have you been playing anything else?
I have.
You have. Do you want to talk about that, or do you want me to talk about? Let's save your big reveal.
Yeah. You
Let's
go.
save your big reveal. All right.
What do you got?
So I'm going to just drop a couple. First, I'm going to drop initial thoughts from a friend of the show, Slamber.
Yeah.
One of our friends. She has bought the deluxe edition of Hell Is Us, and so with that comes early access. So she's put a few hours in. A couple of things that she said. It's weird. The game has 0 map. And that's something you're going to learn to. She was like, it doesn't bother me at this point that there's no map, but it is definitely something that might come back later and become a nuisance. But as of right now, it's really cool. There's no direction at all. Just figure out as you go. So she said it does feel a little bit like Elden Ring. And for the people who are concerned about the Souls-like nature of the game, there are difficulty settings.
Nice.
So just some high-level thoughts. She's only a few hours in, so she was like, I don't want to give you too much more than that because I don't know. I might hate the game later.
Sure.
You know, so just be aware. I know for me, at least personally, I was like, I'm not going to play this game because I don't want to play a game that's really hard right now.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, this game, I don't have, it doesn't have to be hard. So there's good. I'll tell you a story about a video game, and lurking somewhere in the chat, it's going to fucking appear just like Beetlejuice. I played a little bit of Unicorn Overlord.
Oh, he's coming any second now.
Yep, he's gonna pop up. Let me tell you, don't try to play that game when you have imbibed. There is so many things happening in terms of text and in terms of mechanics that I literally made it 30 minutes in and was like, No, I will not.
Not good.
No, I will not. Man, the game looks like it probably is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
There's some cool ideas that it talked about, but I couldn't make it through the tutorial. I was so fucking confused and lost.
Damn.
I was also absolutely fucking gourded. But like, it was one of those things where I'm like, can't always be sober.
Yeah.
It's 2025.
It's not Unicorn over Gourd. It's Unicorn over Lord.
Right. Exactly. So we're not, I don't know, I might revisit that, but definitely not a game. Because it was going to be where I was like, oh, this would be a great game to play in the Portal. And then I can play it while in between, while I'm working, I can pick it up and play it a little bit here and there. But I'm like, I don't think, the thing is, this game, I'm going to have to put in hours at a time to be able to to remember how to do half this shit. So.
Does it have the trademark Vanillaware jiggle?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They be jiggling? Okay.
Everything jiggles. Everything jiggles.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing, if everything's jiggling, is there even a point? You know what I mean?
It comes up on screen at one point and sits sitting next to me, and she's like, okay, Cayman, I've seen you play some shit. What the fuck is this?
That's so funny.
So I was like, man, I don't that's fucking Cog's fault. This is fucking Cog's fault.
Obviously, she didn't.
Where the fuck's that pervert at? Take it up with him.
She didn't see you play Dragon's Crown as the hunter by Vanillaware because a lot of skin, a lot of jiggle with the hunter.
I do have actual thoughts though on a real game though.
Yes, tell me.
I'll make this one quick as well because I do want to hear about your game, and then we'll talk about the one story we have this week. I played Sword of the Sea, and let me tell you guys, this is going to be one of the hardest moments I've had on the show.
Oh no.
Because I always have this thing where I like to put people down and be like, oh, you picked this game? Oh, you really like this game? Fucking nerd. And then I have to eat my own words later to be like, you know what? You're right. You were right. This game rules. Thankfully, it's not one of those times. This game fucking boring. This game's boring as shit, man.
Damn.
I did not like any of it. There was not a single moment of this game that I was like, Yeah. The music's cool and the
Yeah,
art's
sure.
kind of cool. And it's really cool with the sync lights because the sync lights will make the whole room the color of the screen.
Oh
But
yeah.
the actual moment to moment gameplay, absolutely not for me. I did not find like any enjoyment at all in this game. And I beat it.
I was about to ask if you finished it. That I'm so shocked that you didn't
It's
like it at
very
all.
short game.
Yeah.
I would give this game 6.5 out of 10.
Wow.
And that's really riding a lot of the sound design. There was like no emotional resonance that I had with this game at all. In
Really?
Journey, I feel like even
I mean,
like
Journey certainly has a lot more emotional resonance than some of
like
the
Flower, I feel like there's more emotional resonance with Flower than this game.
Interesting.
Abzu, this one I feel like is more of like an Abzu of just like I get what you were going for, but it's not the game for me.
How interesting.
And maybe here, yeah, yeah,
Well, no, I was gonna say I feel like this is the first one since Journey where I actually feel like they did it, where like they
really, okay,
got and like I still think Journey's better, but I do feel like when I look at the Pathless and Abzu specifically from Giant
right,
Squid, I feel like both of those tried to get to the level of Journey and just didn't. They missed, and I feel like Sword of the Sea did get there in ways, not every way, but in ways. The emotional resonance being a way that I agree that they miss. I think that Journey had a lot more emotional resonance, but I'm surprised that you just like didn't like it at all.
So I think my thing is like, what did okay if you gameplay wise,
Mm-hmm.
like what did you like about it?
I thought it felt so good, fucking
Okay,
zooming around, especially later in the game. Or even on a second playthrough, which I never say that anybody should have to do a second playthrough, but on a second playthrough, when you have a few more tools at your disposal, you can
mm-hmm.
do tricks to get boost at any point. So you can like a second playthrough of this game is unfortunately the best playthrough of this game because you can be zooming from the first
Mm.
beat and you can get like max turbo and all that shit. But putting that aside, I think especially toward the back half of the game when you have all of the different skills at your disposal. And there's not many of them, there's only a few of them, but I feel like it just felt really good. And it made me, it had that, ooh, I want to go over there
Right,
vibe for me of, oh,
okay,
I want to try to find this cave to see. And usually in the cave, it was just another pretty thing. The story beats didn't ever really do much for me. But yeah, ultimately, I liked the way it felt. I felt like
hmm.
it was the best traversal that they have done so far since Journey. And I know Journey technically is a different studio, but we're all adults here.
Hmm. They came and play with DualSense. It really enhances the experience in a very tangible manner. Yes. Next question.
The Cayman
I
heel
did.
turn on Sword of the Sea, I'm very shocked
Dude,
by.
it's no, I mean, like, I guess here's the thing is like, I don't know. I was playing it and I was talking to Sid throughout my playthrough where I was just like, I don't know what people like about it. Like,
Huh.
I genuinely like there's games that I hate. Elden
Sure.
Ring is one of them.
Sure.
I fucking did not like Elden Ring, but I can very clearly take a step back and say, I understand why. I don't fucking like Metal Gear Solid 5, but I totally understand why Metal Gear Solid 5 got the praise it got. I get that it feels good to traverse and maybe is even better after you beat the game, but like just kind of scooting around, maybe because I've been playing I played a shit ton of Tony Hawk leading into this.
Sure.
Where like I don't know, Tony Hawk, I'm like, I'd rather just play Tony Hawk.
Sure. I mean, it does.
Which
The
feels like
game
such a Call of Duty
does.
bro shit to say.
I mean, I get it though. Like the game, especially, and there are certain parts of the game that really want you to be doing like tricks to get more speed and stuff. So I don't think
Right.
it's like a silly comparison. Um, I do agree with Noah though, where he says the first game where I felt haptics were connecting with me, connecting me with the world truly. Things like trigger tension in shooters is cool, but not necessarily immersive in the way the ground textures feel. I did feel like going from like sand to water to shingle to like these things. It was really nice with the DualSense once I got my DualSense actually working with the haptics. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's certainly, it's like I feel like if you just pick up the gameplay of this game, you pick up the writing on your Sword of the Sea and put it in a game that looks totally different, I do think it's not as good, probably. I do think the aesthetic, the vibe very much elevates the experience of this game. But to not even get it, I'm surprised by.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean,
lost. Yeah, it was just lost on me. It was. I'm not even kidding when I say this. That like, I was playing the game and was like, and I stopped the game at a certain point, and I was like, I'm gonna go play Soul Hackers instead.
yeah,
I went and played a game that no one's fucking heard about that definitely was not going to be nominated for a game of the year. It was having it just like, I don't know, just felt, I don't know. And then I went back and was like, well, I need to beat it at least so I can talk about it as like a game of the year contender. But like,
sure.
Maybe it ends up on like number 10 on my game of the year list, depending on where the other games, because there's a lot of stuff I still haven't played this year.
Yeah.
But like, that's, I think, the hard part too. I'm like, there's still a lot of things I haven't played this year, like Assassin's Creed. I still haven't played Donkey Kong yet. So I haven't played a lot of stuff that like is going to be on people's lists.
If a 6.5 cracks your top 10, that's a bad year.
I think it's just been a bad year for me in general. It's been a bad few years. Patrick, between the both of us, we've made up an entire life's worth of bad years over the last couple.
This is true. I do want to say one more thing that Noah is saying that I'm going to read before we move on to the next game. I think we need to acknowledge, though, that if we removed our attachment for the previous work, this wouldn't likely hit quite as hard for us as it did Patrick. And I totally agree with that. I think I would be interested because I replayed Journey 2 nights before this, and I played part of Abzu the night before this, and I do feel like that going and I played like an hour, like 30 minutes of Flower as well. I do think that improved my experience, seeing that, like, no pun intended, journey through the different games. And so I would be willing to bet that right now it's my number 4 on the year. I'm willing to bet by the end of the year it drops to the bottom third of my list as I just like generally reflect more and cool down on my take a little bit more. But that happens with me a lot, where like a game will go super high on my list and then it just like slowly keeps dropping. Not even for other games. I'll just like look at it and be like, you know what? I don't think so. South of Midnight is a really good example. That was my number 2 at one point. It's like number 16 for me now. Like it's really fallen a lot in my rankings for the year. I have one more game to talk about, and then we'll get into the news. It's so funny. Before the show, we were talking, and we were like, there was kind of this moment of like, are we going to have enough to talk about? 45 minutes in, we're still talking about what we're playing.
I blame it all on me. It's all my fault.
No, I don't think so. There's no fault here. Only good vibes. Shinobi, Art of Vengeance came in. I meant to get my time before coming into the show, and I forgot, but I'm very close to beating this game.
Okay, so we got some B-roll. I don't know what the fuck this game is. Oh, wow, this looks cool as shit.
Yeah, so this game, it's an old Sega franchise. I played at least 2 and 3 on the Genesis. I might have also played 1, but I honestly don't remember. But I don't remember if 1 was probably on Genesis 2, but I think they were also on. If they were made by Sega, they probably weren't on Nintendo consoles at that time. But anyway, yeah, it's a side scroller, like beat 'em up action-y situation, but very much there's a lot of platforming elements to it. It's not a Metroidvania, but it certainly has like Metroidvania isms, but very, very, very slight Metroidvania isms. Like this very much is you choose a level, you get to the end of the level, there's secrets in the level, and like you'll unlock some things. And if you want to go replay the level to find your secrets that you missed or unlock some other areas in that level, but it's not this. Yeah, it's not like a huge map that I think you'd really fuck with this game. Honestly.
I that's the biggest issue I have with Metroidvanias is that my brain can't comprehend a 2D plane with a 3D map. And so like I can't figure out, or like even a 2D map, I just can't figure that shit out. So this feels like if it's truncated in a way that my brain can process
I
from
think
like
it
a
is.
technical level, then yes, and it looks fucking cool as hell.
It is. And like the art style is so good. The combat's really fun. Really, my only complaint with it is that the story is just like, eh. But like that's it's that kind of game. It's
You're
a
looking
story
for
about
New York
revenge.
Ninja stories.
Exactly.
You want the
Yes.
New York Ninja story. I don't blame
but
you.
yeah, I mean, this one, this is probably gonna when I'm finished with it, I would think in that bottom third of my top 10 might
Okay.
be right outside the top 10 because it's just for me, it's been a pretty competitive year, but I'm
Where's
having
it
a
at?
really good time.
Or what's it on?
I think it's everywhere. I know I'm
Mhm.
playing on PlayStation. I know it's on the Switch. I don't. So yeah, it's published by Sega. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be just everywhere, other than mobile. But I played about half of my time on the Portal, silky
Okay.
smooth, totally no issues whatsoever at all. Very, very good. I highly recommend this so far. And friend of the show, Cog, finished it, and I think he said he's landing in like the 9 to 9.5 range. I'm not going to be that high. I'm probably going to land at like the 8, which Gianni posted a review, landed at an 8 as well. I think that's where I'm going to sit with this game, but definitely a full-on recommend. And like if you I already sent this to my brother who loved Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I was like, it's not the same because that's very much a Metroidvania, but really pretty good action, fun combat. If like those are things that you like, you're gonna fuck with Shinobi Art of Vengeance for sure.
So what are we talking? So I'm looking it up right now. It is on the Switches or the Switch. I guess technically the Switches.
Yes.
The PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC.
Yeah.
So it's literally on everything other than your phone. And God knows at this point in time, it could potentially probably show up on your phone as well. Looking
For
to
sure.
see what the price tag. Do you know what the price tag is off the top of your head?
$29.99.
Okay. Do we
which
feel
isn't
like
bad.
that's steep? Do we feel good about that for the game?
I do feel good about that. I
Okay.
think it is relatively short. You'll probably finish it in 10. But it seems to have a good bit of replay value. I don't think the platinum will be attainable. But looking at a few of the trophies, I think there's some really difficult trophies in there.
Grindy
But
things or
some
just
grindy,
like
or like you just like get good things.
get good. Yeah.
I think
that kind of bullshit.
because there's some things in the game that some like challengey areas where like you go through a portal to this super challenging mode or super challenging area, and those are so difficult. It's the kind of thing where it's like if you do it enough, if you memorize things enough, you would get through it. But it would be tough to platinum this game, I think. So for you specifically, I wouldn't go into it expecting to get the platinum, but I do think that you would like the game and have a good time with it. I think in terms of the price, I do think it's fair. However, if you have a backlog right now, especially of newer releases you've already spent money on, I don't think it would be out of the realm to say, wait for it to drop a little bit, $5 or $10. But I think it is totally fair at $29.99, and I don't regret spending that money on it by any means.
Do you want to point out just quickly before we move on to the story, the news today, that Hell Is Us is currently it's $59.99. Apparently on Steam though, you can. They were running a promotion. You can get it for $49.99 on Steam. So that also too is not as big of a budget title as Shinobi, but still less expensive than a normal new release too. So
sure,
thought it was important to share that nugget of information.
I love a nugget. Cayman, shall we get to the one sole news story of the day other than our news spotlight?
I've been waiting to talk about this for 51 minutes.
The PS6 will reportedly have a handheld, and it's the kind of thing where like the headline is a tiny bit misleading, but this is Andy Robinson at VGC. Sony is planning a PlayStation 6 handheld with Nintendo Switch style television docking capabilities, it is claimed. That's according to Moore's Law is Dead, a YouTube channel that has previously leaked accurate technical info on PlayStation consoles before their announcement. In a new video, MLID shares specific technical specifications for the PS6 handheld, which will reportedly release alongside a traditional, more powerful PS6 home console. I think that's the thing that is being dropped from the headlines, is that it won't be only the handheld that will be a SKU of the PS6, which it says will be based on up-to-date documentation from graphics partner AMD. Notably, Moore's Law says it's seen multiple documents that directly call out that the planned PlayStation 6 Portable can be docked like a Switch, and claims that it will be capable of playing games natively at power exceeding that of the base PS5 when docked. The article goes on to do a bunch of like spec stuff that I don't understand about gigahertz and thicahertz and all that kind of stuff. But the one other piece of information is this person says that he thinks it's going to retail for around 500 and release in late 2027, which both feel absolutely wrong to me. But Cayman, where's your head at? Talk to me through your thoughts on this story.
Here's the thing. You missed another part of the story.
Did I?
There's a third SKU that apparently will be like a place. It's like the PS6i or something like that, which will be like potentially. And this was where things get a little murky. The video I was watching was essentially stating that like the thought process would be that might be just a standalone, like the Portal, like a standalone, does not dock but functions as a handheld, like solely like the Switch Lite essentially would be. Like
I did not see that.
So that I don't know where it might not be in that specific report, or someone else might have dropped that news outside. This came from Game Ranks video I watched with Jake Baldino.
Oh, there you go.
So you know it's going to be good if it's Jake Baldino.
That's so true.
We have talked so many times on this show specifically about Sony's missed opportunity to tap into the handheld market. The PlayStation Portal was, for all intents and purposes, a resounding success. Apparently, it sold really well. It sold well enough for them to drop an anniversary edition variation, like which, they weren't gonna fucking do that with the Vita.
Sure.
So like it's performing well. And I think Sony knows that we're at a day and age now where Sony is not going to be able to compete with Microsoft if they don't have some sort of handheld device that's not just the Vita or not just the Portal. And I think Sony understands that, like, here's the thing I think that's different between Sony and Microsoft is that Sony doesn't want to team up with anyone else. They want all of theirs to be proprietary.
Right.
So where Microsoft is reaching out and they've got Rogue and they're doing the Rogue Ally, it's the Microsoft, but it's actually just a Rogue Ally with a sticker of the Xbox on it or something. I don't fucking know. More optimized for Xbox Live. Who fucking cares? Like Sony's never going to do that. Never going to do that.
No.
They are going to just like their fucking headsets. Like your headset will only work with us. Kind of situation.
For sure.
And so because of that, they're going to make you buy their shit. So they're never going to team up with anyone else. But also, if I'm being realistic here, I kind of would be more inclined to give Sony my money directly and have a production quality handheld than get a Rogue or something, some like off market that's teamed up with. They're like, well, we developed it together. Like, no, this came from Sony internal.
Sure.
And like, I feel like the value there is just more. I mean, look, the Portal is a perfect example of the value is much more.
Yeah.
And so I believe
at $199 too. God.
Right. And so if you were to tell me, Cayman, we've got a $700 PlayStation 6. We have a $500 PlayStation 6 that's not as strong, but it's a little bit stronger than the PlayStation 5 when you dock it. And then we have like a $300 or a $400 PlayStation 6 that's just by itself. I mean, not that I have the money to do this, but maybe future Cayman does in a couple of years. I would get the one that was docking, or the one that is a standalone console, and one that is a standalone handheld device. The dock part, that's where you lose me, because I don't feel like I'm going to get... I want to have something that's dedicated that I can take with me on the road. That's something I can play in bed, that I can do that. And I've never used my Switch unless we're playing Mario Kart or Mario Party. Like, this is the only time my Switch is ever docked.
Sure.
Is always in handheld mode. So like, I feel like I want to have a dedicated console and I want to have a dedicated handheld device. I don't want both, specifically from Sony.
Sirius is asking interesting questions. He says, "What if it's a 399 PS6 that can dock, but the dock has a GPU and costs an extra 150 or 200 separately?"
Okay, now we're talking like that's a hypothetical that like if it boosts up or it is at a point where I'm like there's a significant graphics leap between, or at least a graphics leap between the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 6 to the point that I don't feel like I would pay that little extra money to have that parity. I'm not the kind of, but keep in mind, I'm also not the kind of person that goes out and gets the pros of everything.
Sure.
Like I've never done the pros. I've stuck with my tried and true console every generation. I've never upgraded. I always just wait to the next release. I don't feel any value, to at least to myself. Other people do, and that's totally fair to them. But if you told me in a situation like this that like, hey, your handheld when it docks has the same parity as the standalone console, then that's totally fine with me.
Sure.
That's totally fine. What I don't want to lose is I don't want to lose the fidelity and the performance because they want you to also take it on the road. I don't want to lose that because I can tell you, I tried to play fucking Mafia 3 on the Steam Deck.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like playing a fucking potato.
Yeah.
So
here's my concern.
Right.
And the reason that I don't buy this, even though I still kind of do, I there's so many things firing in my brain right now. I think at a base level, Sony would be silly to not try to replicate what Nintendo has found success doing. I think it's something that would separate them from Microsoft and Nintendo in a way, because on a Sony platform, you get Naughty Dog, you get all of the PlayStation studios, and then now you can have it on the go too, and also dock it like you can a Switch. I feel like that is such a good value proposition. High Score Weekly in the chat says, just based on the Mark Cerny hardware philosophy, I can't really buy them compromising fidelity. And that's where I don't believe this, is that I don't see Sony investing into 2 SKUs of the PlayStation 6 that aren't ultimately the same SKU, because what it's going to do is what Microsoft has been causing developers massive fucking migraines over, which is the X and the S. And it's been things like Baldur's Gate in the news making the Series S look like shit because it can't come out, even though they're saying it's not because of the S. We all know that's why. And I just don't think that Sony is going to want to put themselves in that situation. So all of that to say, if they do this, I think the only way they do this is with Sirius's idea that the handheld version, the dock upgrades it to where the dock is the level of the souped up PS6. Because then all they have to say is, if a game is like, on my handheld, I can't get the game above 30 frames a second and 720p. Yeah, but just put it in the dock. And then now the game is totally fine. I feel like that's the only path forward for them to do this. But if they can do that, I think they would sell so many fucking copies. If, I feel like there's this idea that Nintendo consoles are for children. And obviously they're not. But they are, but they're not exclusively for children. But I feel like if you could market to the parents of the world that buy a Switch for their kids, but still want to play their Call of Duties, their Maddens, and their occasional, AAA adventure game like an Uncharted and Indiana Jones, etc. If you could sell that value prop of a portable, dockable PlayStation 6, I think they buy it, as long as it doesn't cost $1,000, because that it's just too good of a value proposition, I think, to get the portableness. Because we all know, like, the Switch 2 is sold so fucking well. People want handheld consoles. And so I feel like, I don't know, it could work, but I do also see a path where Sony just completely shits the bed, and it fucking sucks. But I don't know.
No, it's a really good point, I think, about the splitting of the different types. And that's a really good point, because the Series S can't compete. Like, it just can't. Right. And I think we're fooling ourselves to try to like argue that it can. It can't, and that's okay. It's okay for it not to be able to.
Yeah.
And so I don't disagree. I think that's a good point there. And so it does, but at the same time too, we also have to take into consideration that we are also talking about hypothetical, like, gameplay development.
Sure.
And what I mean by that is that one of the things with hardware, and it's something that people like the gamers specifically, I think, are having a really hard time like comprehending or navigating a world in which is the law of diminishing returns. Things are just getting closer and closer and closer. The PlayStation 6 graphical improvements, fidelity, performance, XYZ. It's not going to be a leap that you're going to be like, wow. It's not. It's just not going to be that way. There's going to be games that are out right now that look just as good, if not better, that are going to come out on the PlayStation 6. Will we get 120 frames per second locked? Potentially. Like that could be what we get, and that's that leap. We also could potentially be getting leaps in other ways, and other ways might be is that the parity on how software is used or how things are developed might be where things are more in line, where you don't have that difficulty development cycle of trying to make two versions of the same game. That might be where we see people getting creative and things like that. So there's always a world in which it can happen. Do I believe this? To a certain degree, yes. I believe that there will be a Sony handheld. I don't believe that we will have a docking version.
Yeah.
I believe deep in my heart we will have a PlayStation 6, and then we will have a PlayStation Vita 2, but just not called PlayStation Vita 2. It would be really fucking cool if it was called PlayStation The Vita. Would be so fucking cool. So fucking cool. Better name than Intergalactic Space Prisoner 5 Uncharted 6. Whatever the fuck the new Naughty Dog's game's name is called. Lost Prophet Heretic of the Intergalactic. I don't know.
I had your exact experience when I said Naughty Dog and other PlayStation Studios. I couldn't remember the name of the fucking game because it's such a bad
Lost
name.
on me. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it makes I don't see a world. I'm starting to come back to this idea of what you were just saying of I don't see a world in which Sony expects their studios to build basically two SKUs unless there is technology that makes it to where they don't have to.
Right.
Sirius was saying using like frame gen and the PSSR, aka the pisser. Maybe that's how they get it. If the PSSR is in the handheld, maybe that with its AI tech can simulate a better experience. The way that, I mean, like NVIDIA right now, the shit that NVIDIA is doing with their streaming capabilities of like playing games at like a locked 60, it's fucking unreal.
Right.
No telling what the energy cost of that is, but you know, the energy cost that the consumer won't see. But yeah, I don't know. I just worry because like think about how much more time and money it will then cost PlayStation Studios to hit that 10 out of 10 graphical fidelity polish if they're having to also optimize it for a console version that isn't as good as the. And like you could argue that they're having to do that now with the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro, but I just don't think that a handheld will be as good. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like the disparity between the handheld and the docked version, I just don't see how it can be close enough to not be an issue. But
well, it could be like you said. I think you're onto something with I think AI technology and like how much people are dumping into it. It will send us the planet into presumably we will lose all the water in the world by like 20 or what it'd be like 21 in 100 years from now. Let's just say that because I can't do the math. In 100 years from now, we will have no planet. But we will have a handheld Sony PlayStation 6.
And we might have The Last of Us Part 3 and Half-Life Part 3 and Portal 3 and all the threes that we're missing in our lives when those 100
or
years.
Just, I mean, we might even have video games that
World War 3.
We will have World War 3. That is for certain. For certain.
Yeah. Cayman, let's close out the show with a quick little news spotlight because there's some interesting ones in here that I don't want to skip. One that came out today, another Jason Schreier breaking news article. Take-Two reportedly tried to save Perfect Dark from Xbox after it was canceled, but a deal couldn't come together because no one could decide who would get the long-term IP ownership rights, which I think is a bummer that this game that had been worked on for years and years that then was canceled. Take-Two tries to come in and is like, hey, we'll finish it. And I think, you know, we don't know all the details of the business decisions, but I'm sure that Microsoft was like, you can finish it, but we get all the fucking accolades or something like that, which sucks. It's like all that work that's just not going to end up coming out. High Score Weekly didn't know it was canceled. When all the layoffs happened a couple weeks ago, that was one of the big casualties of the layoffs. Was they just canceled that game and a few others as well. Everwild, I think, was another one that got canceled.
Is Crystal Dynamics okay? Are they all right? Has anyone checked on them lately?
So there were more layoffs at Crystal Dynamics, I think I saw, but Tomb Raider apparently is still being done. Was an article that didn't make it into the news spotlight, but I think I read that right. That was on VGC. Go over there and see what I'm missing. This was, at first I thought this was alarm bells ringing, but now the more I read into it, it's like, oh, actually this might be a good thing. Only 8 weeks before release, Mortal Kombat 2 was delayed 7 months. And at first I'm like, ugh, that's not good. But the reasoning, they said, is because it is doing so well in screen testing that they don't want it to go and die in October, and they want it to be a summer blockbuster because they think it's going to do good, which is like, okay, that's fucking great.
Okay.
So now it's going to be released May 15th of next year.
All right. I still don't understand that philosophy of the summer blockbuster to have, like, still don't get it. Doesn't really make total sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, just market the fucking thing well, you know, but
apparently
I think they're just trying to fuck with STC because they knew that I was trying to force us to do another episode to do Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and they didn't want that.
They didn't. Apparently I don't know box office numbers well enough to refute this, but they say that October historically is just a bad month for the box office, I guess.
It does. I mean, I suppose that makes sense. I mean, one of the things I think October is, when you think of October, if you're going to the movies, you want to go see a scary movie. That's kind of the draw.
Fair.
So like Conjuring, this is the last Conjuring film of the franchise. So the franchise finale is coming out this month, like in a week or two. And so I think it comes out in a couple weeks, like right before October. So it should like lead into the spooky season. And that's going to do fucking gangbusters. I can almost promise you that.
I didn't know that franchise was ending.
Yep.
Mazel to them. This one's going to piss you off, Cayman.
Love that.
The Saudi group PIF backed Qiddiya is now the co-owner of Evo, the fighting tournament. They, I guess, bought a stake into that and are now co-owning it, which I'm very interested to see what that means in the future, because there have been some fuck shit things about the Saudi group with other things in gaming that from like censorship and things like that. So very interested to see if there are implications at Evo now because of this co-owning by the Saudi group of Evo. But I don't follow fighting games enough to have a stake in it. Not a financial one, an emotional one. But it just seems like they're just buying more and more in our industry.
I love it, man. Let's just monopolize video games. Everyone will be better off.
Yeah. Tokyo Game Show, which is right around the corner. Apparently, we're going to be getting a big reveal from the Like a Dragon devs. Unclear if it's going to be more Yakuza or if it's going to be that new IP that they showed earlier.
I'm cool with either, honestly.
I'm cool with either too. And then apparently Kojima is going to be showing off some future projects for a 10th year anniversary stream showcase thing about Kojima Productions.
Question: are we finally going to learn more about OD?
I hope so. I'll tell you what we're not going to learn about is Fizzant, the espionage game that he's working on. But OD would make sense. He's working on he's going to announce a new game.
He's going to announce a new game. He's fucking going to announce a new game. It's fucking good.
Yeah. Later this week, we're getting Silksong on Xbox Live, and then they released some other games that are coming. We're getting Nine Souls, I Am Your Beast, the Indiana Jones DLC, Paw Patrol World, which I think is a Mario Kart World direct competitor, and then Cataclysmo and Roadcraft, which I'm not familiar with, but those are going to be some games coming to Game Pass. And then a couple other quick ones. Acclaim the publisher of licensed and AA games from the 80s and 90s that went bankrupt in 2004, coming back, and they have a showcase to announce what they're working on next week on September 10th. So keep an eye out for that.
What the fuck?
I know. Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
And AEW wrestler Jeff Jarrett is one of the minds behind it, apparently, which is really fucking random. And then last thing for today, it just keeps happening. Backyard Sports back at it again next Tuesday. Backyard Football being re-released now, just in time for football season. So,
love it.
Are we going to do a little fantasy football backyard sports draft? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm sure I will play a little bit of that before next week's show since it comes out that morning. Because I'm just a little backyard sicko.
You are a little backyard slut. Oop, that actually might be the name of a porno.
Yes, that definitely.
Hey, Rabbit, you're in the chat now. Rabbit129, tell me, is backyard slut a porno or not? Just shoot me a text message.
It's got to be.
Just send me some links on the side.
It's got to be. All right, y'all. That's our show. That's our sweet little show. Cayman, as always, what a pleasure. When the boys are back in town, Spotlight can't be stopped.
The boys are back in town. The first 4 minutes of the episode is both of us yelling at each other because neither one of us can hear each other. And Correct. It's mainly just because I'm stupid and don't know how headphones work.
Correct. You said it, not me. We will be back next week, but if you don't want to wait until next week, come over to Drop Out Pod on twitch.tv/tomorrow for a Mafia review and spoiler cast. We're going to keep it mostly spoiler free until we go spoilers. So if you haven't played the game and you don't want to be spoiled, at least come join us at 6:30 Eastern for the first half or so to hear us share our impressions and pontificate about what might come in the future before we get into spoilers. And then Thursday night, we're going to be unpacking Silksong. And our game of the year so far also on Drop In, Drop Out. We're going to pay it forward. We're going to go over to Jake Twitch, and he's doing a Coca-Cola Jamboree. Raiders, if you go over there, make sure you give Control and Coal Mines a bunch of fucking shit for abandoning us for Jake. Because we know that we're better than Jake, but I don't think they know that. So until then, Cayman, it's always a pleasure. I will talk to you soon right here on twitch.tv/SpotlightGameSpot. But until then, bye-bye.